Hey everyone, this is Worthy TV, coming at you with a little bit of a different video today. It's actually going back to my roots because I used to be a teacher in many FPS tactical shooters that involve bomb plants. So I'm kind of going back to where I was before teaching. There's been a lot of circumstances that I've seen when I'm playing rated, unrated matches where there's just a lot of mistakes I've been seen thrown out into gameplay that I want to try to fix or, do my part to bring awareness to, because there's a lot of people who are coming into this game who don't have that competitive background, who don't have a lot of experience playing things like Counter-Strike, different games that I've played, for example, Crossfire, AVA, Combat Arms, all these different games where it involves planting a bomb, defending a bomb site, all that good stuff. So I've got quite a bit of experience in the background. For people who are just brand new to these videos or just watching right now, like, who is this guy? I am a person who has got about 15 years plus experience of competitive play at high levels in various different games that involve this kind of game mode right here. So a lot of the rules and things that I've taught in the past really translate well over to games like Valorant, and it sort of just transitions throughout whatever game you're playing. So there's 5 rules. What we're going to do today is we're going to focus on covering CT side, because CT side is super simple to understand and perform well in, and it's going to help deal with a lot of the issues that people have when it comes to dealing with consistency on CT side. A lot of people come to me and ask, how do I keep that consistency? And it's something that I continually hear through top pro streamers. It's questions that keep getting asked over and over again. So we're going to work on consistency. And the way that we're going to work on consistency on your CT side, we'll do T side another day, but the way that we're going to work on consistency with that CT side is through 5 major points, okay? 5 major points that we're going to be covering today that are going to guarantee improve your success on how you play and perform on your CT side are these things. First one is the point system. We'll go over what the difference is between a CT death versus a T death, okay? Number 2, how to win a round. Basically, how to win a round in general. What is the main way you win a round? We're going to open up to questions and answers as we go through it. Step number 3 is map control and CT aggression. Controlled CT aggression, how do you perform it? The 4th one is understanding game mechanics, Peeker's advantage. And the 5th one, the final one, is CT rotation, which will be actually jumping into Haven to be able to cover, because it's a much easier map to understand CT rotation, okay? So we're going to have all of our utility, and what we're going to do is we're going to play in a position where we're what we're called an anchor. An anchor is basically a person who should be the last person to rotate. It's kind of like the captain on a cruise liner, right? The captain goes down with the ship, or he's the last one off the boat. All the passengers leave first. The anchor is the same way. He's the last person to leave the bomb site in a rotation, which we'll cover later on. So, breaking down the systems, breaking down the 5 steps. Let's start with point system, okay? The point system is very simple. It's 5v5, okay? 5 CTs, 5 Ts, making it really blatantly easy, okay? Each person on each team is worth 1 point, okay? All T's are worth 5, all CTs are worth 5. Now there's one exception with the CT team. Each person is worth 2 points as opposed to 1. So if you're working this on a scoring system, okay, just to give you an example, if I'm a CT and I'm playing right here and I'm shooting against a guy, a T on this side, an attacker, okay? What's going to happen is if this T gets that frag on that person, 2 things are going to happen. First and foremost, I'm going to get the kill as a T, okay? That's 1 point. But now I'm also, by extension of that kill, going to get the positioning, okay? So the positioning on the map, all right? That forces, once you kill that person, it forces the CTs to have to rotate in different positions to be able to make up for that loss, make up for that death, which is why an entry frag is so impactful. If a person on T side gets that first frag on CT, it's massive in terms of winning or losing the round for the T, okay? That being said, like I said before, every person's worth 1 point, but the CT is worth 2. Why? Because the life and the positioning on the map, okay? So, that being said, CTs are worth 10 and Ts are worth 5 generally, Okay? So let's say the opposite happens. Let's say the CT gets a frag on the T. Now, the T's are only worth 4 points, right? So by the time that number goes down to 0, or you can say the opposite, you've gotten a frag, fantastic. How impactful is that on the round, okay? If you have any questions about this point system, I'm going to go through it as we go through the video a little bit further in depth, but the idea is that if you're CT, generally you want to stay alive as long as possible, okay? And that leads me into my second point. How do you win a round on CT side? We're going to open this up to comments. I want you guys to drop down into the comment section and give me answers as to what you think causes you to win a round on CT side. What is the best way to win, or how do you win, okay? There's only one answer to this. And most people, if you pause the video right now, put your comment in, most people are going to say, defuse the bomb, frag the other team, right? That's what your immediate reaction is going to be. The real answer, the 100% answer to win a round on CT side is going to be this. Let's say, for example, all 5 Ts sat in T-spawn, they had a little barbecue going, and they're jumping around, they're having fun with their knives, you know, got their bunny hopping going, and the same thing's going on CT side. And the round timer runs out. Who wins? CTs. The answer is the clock. You play the clock. A lot of people ask, am I making the right decisions on CT side? My answer is, if your decision is based on bringing down the clock to 0, you're probably in most cases doing the right thing, okay? If it is against that, you're probably pushing the barriers a little bit. You're reaching out too far at that point. I can't remember what they call it in League of Legends, but if you overextend yourself, you're probably going to get killed. It's no different to this, right? If you bring that clock down to 0, you haven't overextended yourself, you're probably going to win. You get a little bit of water because I'm getting scratchy. So, a surefire way to win any CT round is bringing the clock down. That's point number 2. Over anything else. So, for example, let's just work on B site. Let's say that I'm anchoring B site like we were talking about before, and I want to prevent the Ts from coming in, or the attackers from coming into the site and planting the bomb and winning the round. So how would I do that? Let's say there's 140 seconds on the clock, okay? I know for a fact that once that barrier goes down on this side right here, or sorry, it's right here, they can't just run into the site off 1 minute 40 seconds. There's going to be a few seconds there. So maybe it's like 10 seconds before they start executing. Once that 10 seconds pops up, so it's 120, 20 seconds, give or take, I can drop a smoke like this. Okay? This is super, super simple, super easy, basic FPS bomb match tactic. You throw a smoke down, it's like an invisible wall. It keeps the Ts from wanting to push in. So once that's down, I'll throw another one down. Okay? Once again, super basic. That wall goes back up. If you notice what's happening to the clock right now, the clock is going down. It's only 50 seconds left on the round. I'm going to drop another smoke right there.
Smoke's down.
Another one down. Boom. Now look at the time on the clock, 45 seconds. So if you think about it, if a team wants to rush into B and they want to take it, it's going to be extremely difficult. They have one or two choices. They either have to execute through the smoke, which is going to be extremely difficult for them because I have the advantage holding the spot. I can just fire it. Or they have to wait until all my utility's gone, right? So if all the utility's gone, then they can do a proper execution. But here's the problem. You now have only 20 to 30 seconds left to be able to get that bomb down. So you have 15 seconds to frag whoever's here and then get the bomb down. So what happens? Let's say they wait to the 40-second mark, 30-second mark.
10 seconds left.
They're coming in. I'm going to fall back a little bit. I'll play this angle. Oh, they're coming in. I'm going to fall back. I'll fall back. I'm staying alive, right? So I'm playing the point system, and I'm playing the clock. And what happens? The round wins, as you can see, okay? So this whole thing right here, I could pop in their molly right here to prevent any kind of plant, just to be able to cover off the bomb site. All of a sudden, they only have like 5-10 seconds to get that bomb down. Now they're in a big rush. So that is how you win a CT round. That is very, very basic 1+1 kind of CT side that you would have to worry about or have to work with, okay? And that is honestly, like, if you watch some of my streams, I think yesterday I had one full match where we literally out-timed the T side about 5 rounds. We won 13-8, and 5 of those rounds were just because we stalled out the timer all the way up to 0, and they couldn't execute on the bomb site. So this is like, it's like textbook. This is textbook how you win CT, okay? So those are the things that you want to look at. Now, let's go a little bit more in-depth into the point system, all right? The worst thing to see on a map like Split, okay, which is an extremely CT-sided map. Why is it extremely CT-sided? Because everything is a choke point. Pretty much every entranceway, if a T runs in, they're in high stress mode because they can be shot from so many different angles that benefit the CT side versus the T side, okay? So the one thing I commonly see in rated matches, and it blows my mind how they keep doing it and they just never learn, it's Phoenix players. Phoenix players will come up to this corner right here, right off the beginning, they'll pop the little flash over there and they'll start trying to fight this guy. Why? Why do you do this? You are literally fucking your whole team right now, okay? Stop doing it. If you fight this angle, you quite literally are putting yourself in a position where you are evening the odds. You're already at a huge advantage, probably 70 to 30% that you're going to win the round based on the angles that you have, to you fighting this angle right here and potentially dying. And if you die, like I said again, the point system, you are now losing positioning, which is going to force all the CTs to make up for the bad play that you just did, and you've lost your life as well. So that's not helping anybody. I get it, if you have an ulti, maybe you can push in and get some information. That's a whole different situation altogether, okay? That being said, there is good map control / CT aggression that you can do. I'm going to give you a good example of something that you could do. So let's go to middle. Let's say the situation is this. You're winning. You've won the first 3 rounds. In the 3rd round, the T's team decided to buy, and you won that round, okay? That's going to force the T team to play in eco on the 4th round, okay? So what happens? You win that 4th round, you play passive, you're doing everything right based on the book, what I've been telling you, playing the clock down, playing the point system, making decisions based on those things. So now the 5th round comes around, and the T's are like, all right, we lost the eco, but we had we got a couple of frags here and there. We're feeling confident. Let's get it back into mode, and let's do an execution onto middle and B. Great, let's do it. Now what the CTs can do is they can get Sage and then get Phoenix, for example, in middle. Sage puts her wall down right here. Phoenix flashes around this corner. They both swing, peek, and get a couple of frags, and then fall back. What does that do to the T's team? First of all, it demoralizes them because now they're like, well, shit, they've been playing passive for 4 rounds, they went aggressive, now we have to watch out for the CT aggression that could randomly popping up, and that's going to be on the back of their minds the whole time. On top of that, you've now changed the pace of the game a little bit, right? So the CT aggression, that smart controlled CT aggression, where you're timing it with your teams as opposed to being that Phoenix player who single pushes, flash pushes that a corridor to just get himself fragged, there's a whole different kind of makeup to that. Another example of something that could be CT aggression, where you have that map control, is through A long here. Sage puts a wall down. Everyone's using Sage these days, so I'm using her as an example. So Sage puts a wall down, and now you can control this one area. You can like let them know that you're here, and when they finally break that wall, they now have to worry about a person being here in this corner when they break that wall, up here, right here as they're coming in. So now that's going to be a little bit more stressful for them to walk into A site. That would be an example of good CT aggression. The other thing that this does is think about the map control itself and the timer, right? So once again, the clock is what wins you the rounds on the CT side. If I were to have a CT aggression that we talked about right through here, what does that do to the T's team? Well, now when they're running through the site, just like we're talking about over in A, or they're running through this area right here, they have to clear everything before they can be like, okay, we have middle control, now we can do our execution like we're talking about. So these are things that you need to be thinking about. One lesson that I'm going to be passing along in a video in the future when it comes to and pertains to winning gunfights. And we're going to talk a little bit about Peaker's Advantage today, but when it pertains to actually winning gunfights, the rule of thumb is that victory is determined through the eyes of the opponent. Okay, that is the quote of the day. All right. So based on what the other person is seeing, you'll be able to find victory through what they are interpreting the game to show, okay? We'll go into a whole different discussion with that in a different video, but those are the things that you want to be thinking about. Victory is determined through the eyes of the opponent. So if you show them something, they have to react to that something before they can do whatever plan they had before. So those are things to remember. So those are the first 3 points. Just review. The first point is the point system. The second point is the clock. How do you actually win the round? The third point is CT aggression. Now let's talk about a little bit of game mechanics. Understanding how to hold an angle. A lot of people continually ask, how do I win gunfights on CT side? It's how you peak the angles, all right? Let's use a ramp as an example. Okay? There's more angles than there's this, but this is the basic idea, just so you have something to like work on, okay? There is the on angle and the off angle. The on angle is typically an angle which would be commonly held, okay? So this angle right here would be commonly held by a CT or a lower level player. And the reason why is because it's one angle peeking out onto you. The problem with holding an on angle is that currently in the game right now, and I'm sure it's going to be worked on, maybe it'll be fixed because there's one of their selling points is they want to eliminate peeker's advantage, but currently in the game right now, as it pertains to May 8th of 2020, there is a massive amount of peeker's advantage in the game. What is peeker's advantage? Peeker's advantage essentially makes it impossible for you to hold an on angle. Okay, so holding a position like this, you are going to most likely get fragged, I'd say 90% of the time. Why is that? Let's say the person holding this position and the T were to swing out and clear this angle like this. This person has probably around a full second to shoot you in the head as a CT before you even get a chance to see them. Okay, if you want to see more detail of what this looks like, look up Peeker's Advantage on YouTube for Valorant. You'll see plenty of videos where people are getting blown away in positions that they literally had no chance to fight back on. Okay, that being said, how do you hold an on angle? Typically, what I would be doing if I'm using an on angle is I'd be trying to get information. I wouldn't actually be trying to frag anybody. That's just my personal play style. There's people that will play the on angles and try to get frags. That's your business. Just remember, you have the point system in mind. If you're going to play a position that's an on angle, you need to make sure your teammates know that so they can be in positions to back you up or be in a good spot to rotate in case you get fragged right away. Okay, so keeping those things in mind with the clock and the point system, if you are going to play this, that is your own business. Just remember those things. What I typically do is I shift in and out. I shift in and out, and I check. Okay, if a person wants to get a frag in this position, what they're going to do is the same idea. They're not going to hold this position. They're going to move back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so it'll look like that. That's how you hold an angle. All right, on an on angle. Now, what angles can you hold without doing that? I'll give you an example. This is what's called an off angle. This spot right here, you can hold and stand still. Why can you do that? Think if you're a T side. The key to victory, like I said, is through the eyes of the opponent. So what happens when a person gets to here? They're not going to come out and swing on you right here and use Peeker's advantage. It's not going to happen. Why? Because they're going to get shot in the side. So this is never going to happen where a person comes out and swings on here unless they have like a smoke like position right here and they're feeling confident about it. It's never going to happen. They're never going to clear like that. Okay? So that's why this angle right here would be considered an off angle that you can hold because they're not going to flick on you. All right? They're going to be too worried about what's going on in this area. So when they stand in this position, they're exposed to this angle, this angle, this angle, and this angle. 4 angles potentially where they can be fragged. That's a 25% chance they're going to guess right to frag you. So you have a better chance of holding a spot right here to get a frag than you would right here. Okay? So that is understanding Peeker's advantage, understanding what you can and can't hold. So that's step number 4. The last one is going to require us to move to a different map. We're going to go over to Haven. The last step is going to get you better results on CT side is understanding rotation. Okay? understanding CT rotation. So we're just going to go through the 5 steps again. I'm going to list them out. The first one, understanding the point system, understanding how to win. It's through the clock. If you run down the clock on CT side, you will win a higher percentage of your rounds. The third one is understanding when and how to do CT aggression. I gave you a couple examples of good times to do it. Right off of an eco from a terrorist side would be a fantastic time to do it, because you can really interrupt the pacing of the T's and how they gain their map control to execute onto your bomb sites. The fourth one is understanding mechanics and peeker's advantage. This will be the hardest part for a lot of people because it's understanding the timing. And the timing is the hardest thing. That's where most of us get fragged on, because they're like, oh, I just got timed. Or I was in the wrong spot at the wrong time to be peeking that. So that's where a lot of experience will come in. And those are the things that you need to work on a regular basis. And the last one is understanding CT rotation. Okay, so let's take a look at Haven. Right off the bat, what should your instantaneous reaction be to seeing a map like this? The instantaneous reaction is that this is T-sided. Why is it a T-sided map? There are 3 bomb sites. It's that simple. It's just super duper logic at this point, right? If you got 3 areas to plant the bomb, you're going to see that there's a much higher chance or a much higher percentage in overall gameplay where the T's will get the bomb down versus any other map, okay? There, you will see the spike planted a lot more often, okay? That being said, too, if you look at this map, there is a lot of ground for the CTs to hold, all right? So let's just take right off the bat what a CT positioning would look like. If I pick the map, before the shields fall down, you might see a setup like this.
Right here.
One person A long,
Right
one person
here.
B,
Right
one
here.
person on the right side of B, one
Right
person
here.
C, or C window, and then
Right
one person
here.
on C. This would be the 5 steps right here. So once again, I'll just ping that all
Right here.
together so you can see it.
Right here. Right here.
And there. Okay, that would be your CT setup. All right. There's other setups you can do that I've seen too, where you have one A long,
here.
maybe one short, one on
Right
left
here.
side of B, one
Right
C
here.
window, and one
Right
C
here.
site. This guy right here it's easy for him to rotate because he's in a closer position to be able to go into A heaven and support the A players, etc., etc. Okay?
30 seconds left.
So let's just go off the first setup.
Right here. Right here.
Okay, so this is the setup that
Right
we're going to
here.
work with.
Right here.
Okay, so the first setup, we have a player, let's say it's me, and I go out and I peek. Let's show it to you visually. I go out and I peek, and I see that there are 3 people going down short, okay? Just so you get an idea what it looks
10
like.
seconds left.
I peek out like this, and I'm just spotting, oh shit, 1, 2, 3 past. There's a potential A rush. That's what I'm going to call into my Discord, to my team. There's a potential A rush going through A short here, okay? So what's going to happen with this setup? So I'm going to fall back. Maybe I'll
Right
fall back
here.
to this position. Maybe I'll fall back
Right
to this
here.
position. Maybe I'll be under hell. Maybe I'll go
Right
to
here.
short, right? And I'll throw a smoke here if I'm brimstone. This guy right here, the setup right here, as you can see, will have this guy on the left side of B rotate over into A
Right
site
here.
to play this spot or
Right
this
here.
spot right here to support short, okay? This guy right
Right
here
here.
will then rotate
Right
to
here.
here, or maybe he'll do a slight over rotation to go
Right
to
here.
CT heaven. The guy C window will shift over
Right
to
here.
B site on the right side, and the guy on C site
Right
will shift
here.
over to garage. So that way he can literally hear people run up C, or he can defend on this double door right here. So you can see with this rotation, we're not doing what's called an over rotation. Too many times do I ever see on our CT sides with rated matches with people just playing, all 5 people just immediately rotate over to A site when they hear, oh, 3A long, it's going to be a rush, or it could be a rush, right? Depending on what the communications are. Too many times do I see that. So that being said, how do you rotate? You rotate one person left every single time. That's how you should be rotating. The worst thing, I'm going to go on a little rant here, the worst thing on this map is the point system, understanding the point system here. If a person gets fragged 3 seconds into the round on this kind of map, understanding how wide the rotations are, what's your immediate reaction right away? I'll tell you what mine is. Literally, it's that, okay? And the
30
reason
seconds
being
left.
is that you are making it nigh impossible to be able to defend all 3 bomb sites with 4 people. We have given up significant amount of positioning with 1 frag, and you've also given up your life, which you can't position you off of, okay? So being very careful with your CT sides and the point system on
10
this map is
seconds left.
super, super important. More so important than it is on split. Okay? So, understanding this, I don't want to see
Right
5
here.
people or 4 people trying to rotate in the site, banging into each other, just butt-fucking each other over and over again, trying to get into this bomb site when you could just be rotating 1 to 2 people over. Okay? 3 people is more than enough to defend a 5-person rush through 2 choke points like this. Alright? If it isn't enough, then you need to work on your individual skill and work on your frag ability, because 3 people should be more than enough. And if there's a point in time where you lose 2 people because, things happen in FPS games where you might die, then this person B who was here can rotate through CT, having the other guy can rotate through CT lower, or you can even take map control
Right
through here and
Right
here, pushing through C long to be able to get a flank on the other people and trying to rekindle around at that point. That being said, like I said, individual skill needs to be worked on if you are getting fragged 5v3 on a bomb site where you have the advantage, okay? So those are the things that you want to be thinking about. So once again, from the top, the 5 points that are going to help you improve on your CT side. The first one is understanding the point system. CTs are worth 2, Ts are worth 1 point. The second point, understanding how you win a round. You win a round through the clock. You don't win a round through fragging. You don't win a round by defusing the bomb. You win it through defending the clock and stalling out the clock as long as you possibly can. The third point is controlled CT aggression. When to do it, how to do it, and how to coordinate it. Not stupidly like a Phoenix flash pushing a long on split, but coordinated with the Sage Wall or smokes with a brimstone or omen teleports, things like that. How do you coordinate it with your team so that you can get the most benefit out of it? The fourth point is
30
understanding the
seconds left.
mechanics of the game. Peeker's advantage, what we currently are dealing with right now, where you have to be aggressive with how you peek out to be able to hold an on angle. How do you find the off angle so that you don't get fragged instantaneously by someone peeking out on you? Those are the 2 steps you need to look at for that. And the final one is understanding CT rotation.
10
How do you
seconds
control the
left.
rotation so that only one person shifts over, or if necessary, 2 people shift over? Controlled CT rotation so that all 5 people are rotating over, and then all of a sudden you get faked on and then planted on a C site. So those are the major things that you want to be focusing on with CT side. If you focus on those 5 things and work on those things, you will see significant improvements in how you are consistent on your CT side. This is Worthy TV signing off. Looking forward to seeing you guys live on my live stream, and I hope that helps you. Thank you. Bye.